The thoughts, views, and comments expressed by the hosts, guests, and callers on Beyond the Headlines are not necessarily those of management, ownership, or production unit of the Verizon Media Group. Beyond the Headlines is a production of ILTV Studios and cannot be reproduced or represented in part or entirety without express written permission of the Verizon Media Group. Beyond the Headlines is the intellectual property of the Verizon Media Group. Copyright 2021.
Coming up tonight, two people in custody. They're at the center of what appears to be a voters' card scheme. We have the latest. Also tonight, less than 48 hours after the FNM announces plans to introduce a national lottery, some members of the church speak out. We hear what they have to say. And tonight, the PLP is in Grand Bahama. We go there live. Also coming up later this evening, Killarney MP Dr. Hubert Minnis launches his re-election bid. This is Beyond the Headlines. Good evening. I'm Shanique Miller. It's great to have you along this evening. We begin in Grand Bahama. The Progressive Liberal Party is uniting in the nation's second city as momentum continues to build ahead of the 2026 general election. Devontae Hanna is in Grand Bahama and has been there since Saturday covering the Free National Movement's rally in Grand Bahama. And tonight, he's at the PLP's rally. Devontae, good evening to you. Do give us an idea of exactly how things are looking and what's the momentum like there on the ground in Grand Bahama.
Shanique, I could tell you right now that the momentum is actually starting to build up here in Grand Bahama on West End. The Prime Minister just arrived, so I'm going to show you just the crowd that is beginning to thicken up a bit. We began here about 7:23 when we first went live at the top of the newscast. We did not have this much people out here, but we can tell you that dozens, I dare say, maybe hundreds of people that are coming here and that are here. And if my cameraman could pan with me, we can still see that there are some people that are making their way here to this rally stage tonight. We expect to hear from all of the candidates from Grand Bahama, of course, from the Deputy Leader, Chester Cooper, and of course the Prime Minister, who I said just arrived, Prime Minister Philip Davis. And of course, it's all going to be about sending that message of progress to the Bahama people and specifically to the people of Grand Bahama. We know that the FNM was here just on Saturday past and said that Freeport is FNM country. I've been speaking with some of the residents here tonight and said that the West End is PLP town, and of course they hope to continue that message as we go forward towards the next general election. But of course it's going to be an uphill battle for the PLP. We know that the Davis administration has promised a lot and has promised to do a lot over its last 4 years in office. We're talking about the Grand Lucine redevelopment. We're talking about the Rand Hospital, Rand Memorial Hospital, as well as the Grand Bahama International Airport, as well as the West End International Airport. All of those are things that are left unchecked on the PLP's ticket here tonight, and they hope to rally up the troops and hopefully get into the polls on May 12th. So we're going to be here throughout the night. I'm going to send it back to you on the desk, though, Shanique.
Thank you, Devontae Hanna in Grand Bahama this evening there. Devontae, thank you very much for that live drop and giving us an idea of how that rally is shaping up this evening. Devontae also covered the rally for the Free National Movement in Grand Bahama on Saturday evening. You heard him refer to that just a moment ago. Well, we're going to jump in right there this evening and begin tonight's show with the face-off of the rallies, right? The FNM on Saturday evening hosting its first major mass rally in Grand Bahama. And then this evening, the Progressive Liberal Party doing the same thing in Grand Bahama as well. I'd like to welcome the On the Headlines contributors, Leslie Miller, Ellington Ferguson, and Michael Turnquest. Gentlemen, good evening to each of you. Welcome to tonight's show.
Good evening. Good evening, Shanique. Good evening, colleagues. Good evening, Bahamas. Thank you for having me once again.
Let's just, hi, Michael, good to see you. Let's just talk about what the PLP is intending to do here this evening, and that is prove that in Grand Bahama, they are the party of choice. This after, of course, coming off the heels of the Free National Movement stating emphatically that, wait a minute, no, this is F&M country, as they often refer to Grand Bahama. Your thoughts on how this all shaped up from Saturday evening right into right now this evening?
Well, Shanique, it's very interesting. Starting from Saturday evening, the Progressive Liberal Party kick off their official national rally here in the New Providence, which I must say that was very impressive for a first rally. They have tremendous momentum. The Progressive Liberal Party has its base fired up and on all cylinders, and they're really moving. I think as they go down into Grand Bahama, the Progressive Liberal Party has a lot to prove. They're going to try to sell, like you say, their message of progress and to sell the Bahamian people on the path that they have been taking, on the things that they have done, the things that are still in the works, that is still happening. And hopefully we'll see how Grand Bahama responds to that. You know, the Progressive Liberal Party want to push for Grand Bahama. They want Grand Bahama. They want the support of Grand Bahamians. And it remains the same. If Grand Bahamians feel the things that the Progressive Liberal Party said that they have been doing, do they feel it? Is it resonating with them? Are they leaning towards the Progressive Liberal Party? We're going to begin to see what's happening in Grand Bahama, where the people is moving. This rally, I think, is going to be the genesis of all of that. And then we'll get a clear view after this and other rallies in the incoming weeks as to what Grand Bahama's real response is to the Progressive Liberal Party.
Mike? You know, Shanique, I think the rallies are definitely interesting. I think right now, if we listen to everyone after they see certain rallies, everybody's looking at the numbers game. Who has the most people? You saw the PLP, Progressive Liberal Party, started out in New Providence. They had a great turnout. You saw where the Free National Movement in Grand Bahama also had a very impressive turnout in Grand Bahama. I think the truth of the matter is, in Grand Bahama, for the Progressive Liberal Party, there's been little, there's been a lot surrounding the Alukaya Hotel, and I think there's been a lot of letdowns, deal after deal. There is the current conversation about a new deal on the table for Alukaya. And I think that's what Grand Bahamians are looking, they're really looking forward to. They're looking for, the change in Grand Bahama. They're looking for the economic boost, which they haven't seen. And the current administration is going to have to do a lot of selling tonight in Grand Bahama in order to, to make them believers, to regain I would say, the faith or the confidence of Grand Bahamians to re-elect them, or some of them. So it'll be a very interesting one to watch tonight and see how the turnout looks compared to what the Free National Movement would have had at their rally. And it's definitely, I'm pretty sure a lot of persons will be looking forward to see what the Free National Movement do in New Providence in terms of when they do a mass rally, whether it be R.M. Bailey or Fort Charlotte, wherever they might decide to do one.
This weekend was a dramatic weekend for both entities. It was interesting that the PLP decided to go to the home park of the F&M, which is R.M. Bailey. The PLP rallies are normally on East Street at the parade, out there on the big park. But this time they went directly to the home of the F&M. They had a tremendous crowd, some 7,000 plus. Very exciting speakers. They indicated what they had in mind to do. They laid out their plans, which appeared to be a good one on behalf of the Bahamian people. Nadia and Grand Bahama just spoke to someone 2 minutes ago, and they said it was one of the largest motorcade that they've seen in years, the last 20 years, heading from Freeport to 8 Mile Rock. It'll be interesting to see what happens tonight. The F&M had their rally, had a pretty good turnout, not as good as could have been expected according to the Guardian. But, the fight is now on. And the coming weeks, we got 3 weeks left. And believe me, everybody's on the road. In fact, we were on the road yesterday, on Sunday and all. Mm-hmm. So there's just no let-up time. 7 days a week, every day.
They're pounding the pavement on Sundays as well?
Yep, every day. Every day. You got to walk to win. And those who walk the most will win the most, if you got a plan that people can respect and appreciate. Very interesting.
Yes, absolutely.
Competition between the two parties.
Well, gentlemen, speaking of very interesting, here's something that's very interesting that really kind of unfolded earlier today, and was a story even I was following all day. A Parliamentary Registration Department employee is facing charges tonight after allegedly running a fake document scheme. Linton Ritchie Jr. has been on the story for most of the day and has the latest.
So that is true then.
Not entirely.
31-year-old Bahamian male employee of the Parliamentary Registration Department is now in police custody in connection with fraud. Now, once that news statement by the Royal Bahamas Police Force, there were mounting questions as to what prompted authorities to launch this fraud investigation. Well, Eyewitness News can confirm that a 33-year-old woman was taken into custody at the National Insurance Board after it's alleged that she was reportedly attempting to gain access to a NIB smart card. It was then where she presented an alleged fraudulent voter's ID card, which prompted NIB officials to alert local investigators. Now, at that point, Eyewitness News can confirm through credible sources that she did alert authorities and identified a man who is an employee of the Parliamentary Registration Department. Now, sources close to the investigation telling Eyewitness News earlier today that when that male was arrested, it's alleged that he was also found in possession of a number of what's believed to be fraudulent voter ID cards. Now, this comes at a very crucial time for the country. We're just less than a month away from the 2026 general election, where the opposition Free National Movement and the Coalition of Independents have called on the governing Progressive Liberal Party to get a grip on what they say is an immigration crisis. In recent times, we saw a number of individuals arraigned before the magistrate court on fraudulent charges. Just last week, a Haitian national arraigned before the courts, and the list can go on in recent times. But of course, back in reference to this investigation, there are a number of questions that are now looming that we're hoping to get answers to. Could there be more employees of the Parliamentary Registration involved in this alleged scheme? How many of these voters' cards could be out there? Was he selling these voters' cards? Of course, these are all questions that we're hoping to get answers to, but of course, we're standing by for more details into this investigation. I'm Linton Ritchie Jr., reporting live from outside of the Parliamentary Registration Department, sending it back to you at the desk. Janea.
Of course, we will talk about that in a minute and see what happens. But I'll tell you this, the Parliamentary Registrar Department, there is a response from both the governing Progressive Liberal Party and the Parliamentary Registration Department tonight. They are responding to the matter. The Parliamentary Registration Department says it is part of a cross-agency effort to detect and prevent fraud, whether committed by individuals outside of government or from within public agencies. The department says the most recent case involving a casual worker who has since been charged with fraud by false pretenses shows that the safeguards within the system are working. Officials also note that the individual was not listed on the voter register. Meanwhile, the Progressive Liberal Party says there is no way around the system, warning that those found engaging in criminal acts will find plenty of space in the Fox Hill prison. Authorities believe the accused was allegedly trying to use fraudulent voters' cards to obtain other supporting identification documents, not to cast a ballot. Now, both organizations thanked the Royal Bahamas Police Force and other agencies for their diligence and cooperation while maintaining their commitment to a clean, credible, and secure electoral process. Now, I too was following this story since morning, and understand that it's the gentleman had about 5 fraudulent voters' cards, and he was found with that amount on him, and that they believe that he may have been selling these voters' cards. I was told, and we heard Prime Minister Ingram say it, and we will bring that up, that it's very difficult to steal an election in the Bahamas, because those voters' cards would need to have various signatures and stamps and official stamps on them. Not sure where this guy sits and what access he had to those official stamps, but this is what's going on. We have discussed this. I mean, I've had Nicholas Simonet here since last year several times to talk about the more stringent process and the fact that people are being prosecuted should they be found in violation of any law as it relates to national documents. And here it is, somebody right in the Parliamentary Registration Department just carrying out reportedly his own racket.
It's got to stop.
Shanique, I say several things. Let me start with this one. I want to start by praising all of these agencies, from the Parliamentary Registration Department, National Insurance Board, the Passport Office. I think, Bahamian people, you can rest assured that your agencies are working. And the fact that they are finding out all of these forged documents each time, the individual holder who got it from whoever they got it from, each time they attempt to use these forged documents, they are being detected and these people are being held to account. So I want to say I have great faith in our agencies, and I think those persons that are on the front line of the agencies, they know what to look for in these documents, and they're doing their job. And they are to be congratulated. And I think Bahamians, I invite you to join me across this country to congratulate and commend those people in those agencies for doing the work that they're doing. We've got some unscrupulous, greedy Bahamian who will sell their birthright for a bowl of porridge just to get a couple of dollars, not knowing the damage that they're doing to this country. And I thank the God that there are agencies and the police are involved and they're prosecuting whoever is found with it. Those of you that are any illegal immigrant, those documents do not work. Do not put yourself through it. Somebody may tell you they could sell you a document. It's not going to work. You're going to prison. Please, don't try it. Do not try it.
Louis George, you too.
Stop it. Leslie, stop.
Louis George is born here?
Yes, he's a Bahamian.
He ain't no born here.
He is a
Louis
Bahamian.
George is not born in the Bahamas.
Leslie, how you know that?
Born here.
Leslie.
Okay? Him and Don,
Michael.
that little preacher you got coming here. What is him?
Tout mon haïtien.
What is name? What?
No. Pastor St. Louis.
Oh, St. Louis.
Listen to me, Leslie.
I like to catch him here one night.
Leslie, stop
I
it.
like to catch St. Louis here. Be the last time he walk in there. Take his ass right to St. Louis.
See? Beyond the Headlines is back with Leslie. Leslie, I think you're talking enough. You don't need to say another word. Michael, I'll give you an opportunity to talk when we come back right after this.
Hey, it's your boy Charlie Bahama here at Superwash, Superwash's newest spokesmodel, and I'm here to tell you about Superwash's large capacity washers and dryers for all your big loads.
I know I see that Charlie Banana coming here just now.
Luckily it's also big enough for me to hide it.
I thought he was right over here where these large capacity washer and dryers is. They're big enough now to handle your big loads, you know. Yeah, like your comfort on your blanket. But just look at us. Somebody forget to turn on the dryer. Oh, stop! Help! You hear something? Yeah, that's the sound of clean. Superwash washes you, processes you, and entertains you 24/7.
Welcome to Cityscape, your ultimate solution for hassle-free car rentals with unimaginable benefits. Cityscape is the Bahamas' first car rental rewards app. Those benefits include a Cityscape car rental rewards program. From the moment you sign in, your dashboard becomes your control hub, showing you your total rentals, total spending, and the points and levels you've earned along the way. Head over to the history section to track every stage and status of your rental from booking to completion, all in one place. With every rental, you earn reward points that can be redeemed for exciting perks like free car washes, free gift cards, discounts on future rentals, and exclusive offers designed just for you. Start your journey at the bronze level, then climb your way up to silver, gold, and finally platinum. Each level unlocking higher rewards and faster point accumulation. So what are you waiting for? Rent with Cityscape today. Rent smarter, earn more, and level up your drive with every ride.
Very dry, tight, sensitive skin? Relieve it in 60 seconds with Aveeno Skin Relief. With soothing triple oat complex, clinically proven to heal and strengthen dry skin. Aveeno, your skin stronger.
Don't let diarrhea steal your sunshine. Imodium Multi-Symptom Relief gets to work fast in just 1 hour, offering our most complete relief from diarrhea, bloating, gas, and cramps. So you can get diarrhea off your mind. Imodium. Calm the chaos of diarrhea.
Hey, it's time to lock in your vote. Your vote is your power.
With the new boundaries in place, you may need to transfer or confirm your voter registration.
And if you have never registered or didn't plan to vote,
don't get left out on one of the most important decisions of your future.
Make sure when election day comes, you're ready to say,
your say, your vote, your choice.
Play for fun, not for funds.
In the Bahamas, we play hard, but we live smart.
We love a little competition.
A little excitement, a little thrill.
And at Idle Luck, gaming is all about entertainment.
Shared moments, celebrating the wins, and enjoying the experience.
The key is simple. Play for fun, not for funds. When you set a budget before you start,
and know your limits, you stay in control.
And when you're in control, the game stays what it's meant to be.
Fun. So play for fun, not for funds.
Must be 18 and over. Island Luck reminds you that it's only a game, so please game responsibly.
Welcome back to Beyond the Headlines. We were discussing before the break the issue with a parliamentary registrar department employee who is now in police custody, found with fraudulent voters cards, and he is in custody along with an employee from NIB. Apparently, both were involved with in a racket. Michael, we were saying during the break, it really doesn't matter the stringent measures that you put in place. These people will continue to try and beat the system as best as they can. Michael is muted, guys. I'm not sure. Michael, I'm not sure if you're muted or what's happening.
Sorry. The question, the young man that's in question, this is a young man that's known to problems within, I would say, government agencies. We talked some time back about persons ending up in the parliamentary department who are not qualified or not to be here.
Yes, we did.
This is a person who should have never been there, because he was from my understanding and my sources, he was at another agency where he was let go for whatever it is. So my thing is,
and you're right, Michael, because you shouldn't have the dumbest of us all to go into work in an area as sensitive as the parliamentary registrar department. Just go dump people there and let them go work.
We spoke about this months ago about individuals that were on the police force or the defense force that ended up in the parliamentary that should have never been there. No. So my thing is, this seems to be a place where we take those that I call them rejects, and we put them in places where there's sensitive information. Because you know something, yes, I'm happy to see that this particular one was caught. But what about those that slipped through the cracks? The ultimate thing is, for a lot of people, is to get a hold of that passport. That passport will once you get that through whatever means, will eventually get you on that voter registration list. It's fortunate that this particular person never made it there, because we do have certain things in place that will not until you get that actual passport, then you have to start that process all over again in order to get your name as a registered voter, because now you're considered a Bahamian citizen. So, and this is why I say we need to make prime examples out of persons, when we get foolishness that is happening, because we can't continue to allow to give people a slap on the wrist and say, or give you bail, or even give you a $10,000, whatever. The fine, there should be nothing called a fine.
Okay.
You should not go directly to jail, and you should serve at least 20, 30 years in prison.
First of all, we need to thank Mr. Thompson and his staff.
Absolutely.
Thank the passport office and their staff, the good people with police force, defense force. It bothers me that the major criminals are our own people.
Yep.
Selling out the birthright of our country that God gave us. Now here's this young man who, like Mike said, has been around a lot of different places, always a bum, looking to see what he can grab and thief. And he go and sell our birthright now. The problem is, what is going to happen to him? Is he going to go out on bail tomorrow? Or is he going to be in prison until this matter comes up? And it's not likely to come up until after the election. And who are the others? It's not just him and this other one from NIB. It's a group of them. And we need to stamp this out, man. You know, when I see these guys, a fella came to me last week. He will have some flag dating. And he bought his passport to Mr. Miller. So all I want from this country is this, you know. I said, what you say? So all I want from the Bahamas is a passport. Y'all don't have nothing else I want. I said, that's biggity son of a... And they're serious. The guy is telling me, the only thing you could offer me is a passport and go to hell. All the babies could go to hell.
That
Just like
person should
Louis
never
George
hold
and the
Leslie,
little passport and Freeport. What a little plug name. Huh? That goddamn plug.
Leslie, who are you talking about in
The
Freeport?
little pluggy one in Abaco.
Leslie, leave that guy alone.
Huh?
You need to leave Luby alone, Leslie.
Luby?
Yes, you must, because I think Luby is born here.
Born here. Luby no born here.
Luby is a
Ask what the fella name is our buddy. Which one? I'm the lawyer. He was on this show on Friday. Bodie likes to kill him. Bodie said, I want you and all of y'all go back to your country today. You know what the fella tell him? Say, watch how much we can bring here.
He was just trying to antagonize Bodie. Listen, let's move.
Don't antagonize over him in this country, man.
You know,
get over here.
That's the problem. You don't
Antagonize in my country? How do you think I can take that? You antagonizing me?
Antagonize me
In my country?
You know,
come on, man.
Well,
gotta be.
Is it a matter of free speech? You know what I mean, gentlemen?
My ass. You know, free speech ain't gonna do this, man.
Is it a matter, Michael, of free speech?
What free speech?
Is he entitled to free speech?
To tell me he want to take my country from me?
I don't think they want to take the country.
They are taking it. They are taking it.
Leslie, Michael, and Ellington, what you do, Michael? Michael, 1 second.
It's not a laughing matter anymore.
Michael, no, it isn't a laughing matter. But you blame the lazy, lackluster, under-inspiring Bahamian men who sit down and sit on the blocks and smoke and complain and do whatever, and
wouldn't learn a trade,
and they can't
wouldn't get a job,
a hammer or nail to knock together.
You're right.
And so what?
And worse than that, don't take care of the children.
Yeah, they just act like.
Well, for that, you know, I'm willing to pick up the slack. You know, let me continue to pick up the slack, and whether it be from entrepreneurial or whatever it may be, I'm willing to do what it takes in order to take our country back to where I think it needs to be.
Shanique, I had this conversation at breakfast today, and I was talking with another gentleman. We have a long way to go as Bahamians as it relates to what we do in this country. We are largely responsible for the calamity that we find ourselves in. Bahamian men, we've got to buckle up. We have lost it. We have fallen asleep and we've done whatever else. And we're crying when we see foreigners thriving. Foreigners come here, they're hungry and they're aggressive and they're trying to achieve something and they focus. Our men want to hang around, they want to chill, they will go to work to get some money so they can go hang out.
And don't show up for another 2 weeks.
You don't see them once you pay them. We got to get our act together if we're going to preserve this country
and make
for
it
future
that they don't take care of.
I tell you, just all over the place, just being careless and silly with, you know, with their situation.
But you hear what Lyndon say, right?
What?
If you don't take care of country and don't fight for it, they can take it from you.
No, well,
and them fellas doing it every day.
He must have envisioned
peace.
this.
Peace.
You know, he said they can take it from you. He said you don't deserve to have it.
Exactly.
So Lyndon said that you don't deserve to have it.
Okay.
I tell you. So you know this.
They can take down nothing what I got.
We've discussed this over and over and over again. And people think you're being emotive when you discuss it, but it's something that is very important to discuss because regardless of who wins the election,
that's our future
you
stake.
will continue to be in the position you are in because you refuse, 1, to participate, 2, to get involved and educate yourself or upskill or whatever it is you need to do. All these various programs you all think is just a farce. And so you sit there and complain versus get right there, looking like Tyrone them. Right there.
Right on the block.
Right there. So listen, you all, the official opposition, speaking of getting involved in this, what y'all think about this? The Free National Movement is giving voters an idea of where the focus of an F&M government will be placed. The F&M launched its manifesto last evening, making bold promises as the campaign trail heats up. But tonight, one of those promises is drawing sharp criticism from the nation's chief. We get the story from Jose Etienne.
It's rather odd that you want to turn the Treasury into a gaming house. to talk about a national lottery seems to be a gimmick.
That sums up how the Davis administration feels about the FNM's proposed national lottery plan that its leader, Michael Pintard, says would be used to fund areas that have long struggled with inconsistent funding. It's a bold pledge that was made on Sunday night as the FNM unveiled its We Work For You manifesto.
A public initiative designed to generate dedicated funding for the advancement of education, sports, youth development, and social intervention and culture.
Pintard also outlined how the lottery would function, noting that it would focus on large-scale draws and avoid competing with existing private gaming operators.
This lottery itself will focus on large-scale big ball draws, 5-ball and 6-ball formats, offering prizes in the hundreds of thousands of dollars and even millions.
As he made his case on a proposal that's already drawing scrutiny, Pintard pointed to international examples.
Countries as diverse as the Dominican Republic, Curacao, St. Martin, and Ghana have shown that a well-regulated public lottery can coexist harmoniously with private operators.
But Davis zeroed in on the Dominican Republic's national lottery as he poked holes in Pintard's case. The Loteria Electrónica Internacional Dominicana was smeared in corruption controversy, which has led to criticism in other jurisdictions considering similar models. In 2012, United States authorities arrested a number of Dominican individuals allegedly involved in illegal gambling operations. And the investigation also shows that the former lottery's administrator and former head of the National Federation of Lottery Agencies plotted to commit fraud.
National Lottery of Dominican Republic was proven to be such a failure with corruption and fraud.
Still on the proposal, Pintard says the proceeds of the national lottery won't be absorbed into...
Of course, that is the FNM leader, Michael Pintard, Leslie Ellington, and Michael. Speaking of a national lottery, some people say great, because then, you know, for example, in various states in the United States, some of the proceeds of a national lottery go toward, say, for example, education, healthcare, roads, and you see upgrades happening all the time, and they feel like that can certainly be something that many of our key infrastructure areas can benefit from. And then, of course, you have the church, gentlemen, who are opposing. And so let's hear a little bit from what the church is saying, and then we come back and discuss.
The church's position on the potential introduction of a national lottery in the Bahamas for years have been controversial, marked by organized opposition ingrained in moral and social concern. And with the Free National Movement proposing an introduction of a national lottery, many voices over the years have been historically spoken out against it, including Lyle Bethel and Mario Moxie. Now, Eyewitness News made multiple attempts to reach Bethel on Tuesday, however, was unsuccessful. Meanwhile, Moxie declined to comment on the matter. However, the Bahamas College of Bishops has drawn a line in the sand, outright rejecting the proposed idea. President Walter Hanschel saying the lottery encourages a get-rich-scheme mentality and does not promote responsible stewardship of finances.
Many people who are addicted to gambling, they gamble all day long, and in particular women. And these women sometimes leave their children at home, leave their children in the car, and all they're doing is gambling. So rather than focus on gambling, why don't we focus on empowering our people?
It was in 2013 when voters overwhelmingly rejected a referendum that proposed both the regularization of web shop gaming and the establishment of a national lottery.
Gambling houses all over New Providence, throughout the Family Islands, and we have a proliferation of gambling houses, a proliferation of liquor.
And so, of course, gentlemen, you hear what the pastors are saying. That story goes on. A number of them disagree with the introduction of a national lottery. Your thoughts, gentlemen, on something that it's nothing new. We see national lotteries play out in various states of the United States. However, we see, obviously, it seems outside the United States, it tends to have a few hiccups here and there. For example, Dominican Republic. But your thoughts about having one potentially introduced here in the Bahamas?
I think Shanique, Go ahead, Michael.
I just, when you look at the different persons that might want to have a say and some that, prefer not to comment, I always say, especially when it comes to politics and church, you can't have two masters. You have to decide which one it is that you're going to worship. And I see sometimes in the church always, some have a lot to say, but sometimes I think some of them have to look within. And where they be their members, whoever, a lot of them that actually play in the number houses. I'm not going to knock down a national lottery. Once it's thought out properly and the details are given, because there's a lot of things that we need to look at from a national standpoint. When we look at, we keep talking about education, but we never talk about we never talk about how do we address the salaries of those that work in education. Maybe that's something that can help to fund, teachers being paid what they deserve. And that means that those that are deserving of it, or actually attract those teachers who want to actually teach, because we continue to say we have an issue inside the ones that bring up our little ones, but they are not paid, they're not funded properly. There's a lot of things that I think that needs to be looked at, but anything that, when we look at political parties, when we just make these promises, we need to see, the public need to see the details behind it. What is the fine print? Because a lot of these things are promised, and all of a sudden you see a government goes into power 2-3 years down the road, you're still waiting for whether it be whatever it is that they promise, but then they do implement it, it's missing a lot of critical things that you thought that would have been a part of it, because you know why? The fine print was never released. And this is something that all political parties, when we start talking about, oh, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, and we're going to do this, a lot of the fine print is never, the details are never hashed out. And I think when they're elected, then they're scrambling around in terms of what it is that, how are we going to do this? How are we going to make this feasible for the Bahamian people? And then we spend a lot more money trying to get it right all the time.
Shanique, when we talk about instituting a national lottery, and I think I did see the leader of the opposition put a timeline in it. That is something that is going to be, number one, worked out on a national level. That ain't no quick and easy thing. If you try to do it quick and easy, you're going to end up with the same issues that you see the Dominican Republic and other regions are facing, so we don't want that. However, be that as it may, the government decided to go that way, fine, albeit I don't gamble. I have a real problem, and I appreciate Bishop Walter Hantel for his consistency across political line. I appreciate him. I have a real problem, and I think a few months ago when they had the annual parliamentary service or something like that, the priest down at the Christchurch Cathedral, he dealt with this to an extent. I have a problem with the church. I have a problem with religious ministers that allowed an aggressive in certain administration, and when administration change, the same issue, and they are like dumb dogs according to the Bible. I have a real problem with that.
The church, man, come on.
You either in or you out. You're either going to speak the issues and be sincere men and women of God, or you're not. You can't be on the one administration, you're loud and aggressive, and when it's another administration saying the exact same thing, mum's the word. Hypocrites.
Well, we know that very well. We know that very well. We could sit here and talk with the church for the next, really, until midnight. Leslie, when we come back, you will have the first word in. By the way, you all, Dr. Hubert Minnis launching his re-election bid in Killarney over the weekend. We talk about that right after the break. The race to 2026 is heating up, and the nation's voice is louder than ever. Here on Beyond the Headlines, we're checking the mood, the momentum, and the message of the people. I'm Shanique Miller. Each week, we're taking the temperature of the electorate to see what's really driving the nation. Who's connecting? Who's cooling off? What issues are heating up ahead of 2026? This is Temperature Check 2026, where journalism meets the nation's heartbeat.
Well has expanded their testing menu. We now offer blood work, drug screening, and so much more. Our hours of operation are Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m., and Saturday, 8 a.m. to 1 p.m., located on 11 Madera Street. We are here for all of your laboratory needs, with fast and reliable lab work done by our friendly and knowledgeable staff. Let us help you take the needed steps to stay in the know about your health. Let's keep working towards a healthier you. Stay eating well.
Wealth should not only belong to a select few. At InvestStar, we believe the door should be open to everyone. We provide options for planning a better future. Our investment funds are designed to assist you in reaching your long-term financial goals. Let us show you how.
Welcome back to Be on the Headlines. It's good to have you all tuned in. Just before the break, we were talking about the FNM's proposal to introduce a national lottery. My panelists spoke to it, but Leslie, you have not weighed in as yet. The others thought that it was quite hypocritical of many members of the church who are very, some instances, very vocal, and other times just nowhere to be seen.
You know, I'm not surprised of the hypocrisy of some of these so-called men of the cloth in this country. Two in particular who we saw on TV a few minutes ago were very valiant and spoke out heavily against gambling under the PLP, under the Christie administration, which I was a part of. They even demonstrated with some of the people. It really carried us to war. And now today, they wouldn't say a single word. But you know, that's why you got to be careful who is going to try to take you to your Lord and Savior. You better stay clear of them, brothers. I'll tell you that. But be that as it may, you know, it is what it is. I don't expect any more myself.
It is what
But you know, you got to appreciate that the combined take that the government gets from the local gambling houses in the Bahamas exceeds $50 million a year. So they do make a valuable contribution to the national treasury. Perhaps we can look at increasing that, or a lottery. I'm not totally against it. And they make a lot of contribution to churches too.
Church offering box.
What do you mean the church offering box?
Very substantial contribution.
Though the
to
members
the churches in this country
both work there,
and
some of the winners goes there.
Yeah.
You saying the numbers guys give handsomely to the church?
Oh yeah, very much so. Very much so. On all of their missions, they
and employs a lot of their members
to their trips in the Bahamas and overseas.
You know, they say the church never loses. It's tax free.
I thought they said the host never lose. Now you say the church never lose.
I guess that's the host.
They're tax free. I gotta pay taxes.
They'll often make you see go on face dogs and we ain't gonna break with them.
I don't get on donations.
Often they make you see go on face. Even they can see back some of them.
Oh my God.
They got to stop it, man.
Well, okay.
We got to be honest.
Absolutely.
We have to have a real conversation around
absolutely.
No, we must.
These churches.
No, we must. Yeah. No, we must. I tell you the truth. You better seek God for your own self. Tell you, absolutely.
I depend on none of
Know
that.
Him for thyself. So listen, you all, over the weekend in Killarney, Member of Parliament and incumbent Dr. Hubert Minnis laid out the plans for a Killarney after the 2026 general election, should he be successful. He, of course, is seeking, as you all know, a 5th term as a Member of Parliament, only this time as an independent. Take a listen.
What would have the long at?
A minimum of $100 quarterly to assist with their light. That's our Gambia Light Assistance Program. But we want to spread a program similarly throughout the entire Kalani. Now, we cannot give that assistance to every member. But what we will do, we will introduce assistance program for the retiree and the elderly. Those in the Kalani constituency will be allotted retirees. We know that the funding that you receive from national insurance is not adequate. And therefore, the retirees in Kalani will receive quarterly $100. We have started a lot of programs and projects here in Kalani. But we must be the first constituency to complete our CCTV program throughout the length and breadth of the Kalani constituency. If there's a pothole in the street, the member of parliament is responsible. If a dog is dead in the street, the member of parliament is called, and he has to deal with that. If lights are off, the member of parliament is called. I have a great advantage in that I live in my constituency, but that can become taxing. And therefore, we will introduce in Kalani the Kalani Community Digital Local Government App.
Gentlemen, I want you all to weigh in on, or at least respond really, on what Dr. Minnis has shared as just a part of his vision to move Kalani forward should he be successful at the polls next month. Really a lot of give backs, a lot that an independent member or candidate is promising as member of parliament. Quite impressive, and some of which he has already implemented.
Well, Shanique, and I would love to start from right there. I think what I love coming from Dr. Minnis, I don't hear a whole lot of promises. I hear about existing program. I heard about expanding the programs that they now have, increasing initiative. He talked about expanding their doorbell program for the security of the people in Kalani. And these are all initiatives that Dr. Minnis has been doing in his constituency. And what is he speaking to? He's not speaking of some grandiose thing that the people are not familiar with or that he have not talked about to them before, and has these programs, a lot of them already in the works. So I think he's poised to do very well in Kalani. Kalani people is deciding to stay with Minnis by large. I'm sure there are going to be party-based supporters that are going to go with the party. But Minnis continues to do a phenomenal job in Kalani as a member. Whether he wins it or not, he has been a phenomenal member of parliament for Kalani and still continues to be.
You know, I would echo off the sentiments just made. I mean, a lot of the things that Dr. Minnis is proposing are doable things, and that's what I think, and I'm sure he would have done his data analytics in terms of, you know, the amount of persons that might need the assistance, whether it be the electricity program, and you know, he knows what within his constituency what polling areas might need this assistance in terms of retirees, and then those who we just know just don't need it and they won't show up for it. And that's the good part about his constituencies. Like, those who need it are actually going to show up and say, hey, Doc, we need this assistance. But, you know, he has done an excellent job. He is, you know, a lot of the programs that he is referring to are existing. He's just building on them. But you know, that being the CCTV program and others. You know, I saw his DAP. I think he had this, you know, I think the Brotherhood DAP program, a thing that he had going on one of his campaigns. You know, I've been following his campaign, and it seems to be, you know, I think he's gaining the traction in terms of being an independent candidate. And I think he's stating the facts in terms of what an independent candidate can do, and they are not divided from other because they're not a part of a political party, which is true. And I think he's getting the facts out there to his constituents. And, you know, I think this is going to be a very interesting race to watch.
I think they are really bold and insightful initiatives that he's proposing. It's going to benefit the persons who are in dire need for that assistance. So we wish him luck. I now have to call on the good Dr. MacGyver to ease up and not get those 600, 800 votes that I'm projecting for her to see to it that this good gentleman may slip in, but I don't think that's going to happen. So God bless him.
I thank you all.
Leslie, I hope you better get that $5,000 ready.
Leslie, you need to get that 5,000. How much you betting me?
Hold on. People are saying that the last election, they got 12,000 votes. I know that is not true.
I don't think
so. I now have the right to put it up to 10,000 to try to protect my own interests. I then split it, give the woman half of that 5,000, the $64,000 woman. I give her half of that, and then give you the rest.
5 to 10 now.
Well, I have to, because if you got 12, I let Angie down, you know.
Listen, I thank you, gentlemen, so much. You all are always very engaging, informed, and entertaining.
You mentioned the man.
Who, man?
What happened with Long Island, man?
Yes.
What happened
By the way,
you
all, no, we cannot. Yes,
what Long Island, man?
Adrian Gibson did not make his announcement yesterday. Instead, he did today. And in fact, if this is it, you all, I can read it. So tonight is marking the end of a chapter for Long Island's now outgoing Member of Parliament, who is rolling the teleprompter. Adrian Gibson has announced, as I said, via social media today, that he will not seek a re-election bid for Long Island. It comes after months of speculation about what it is that he's going to be doing. Of course, you all know the Free National Movement told him, hit the road, Jack. We're not going to go with you. Andre Rollins was ratified there in Long Island for the FNM. Quickly, gentlemen, like just 1 second each, a response.
Well,
I don't know. I don't know what he was promised, because I don't know how, you can go from, at one point contesting and then all of a sudden, just stepping back. Because, I'd say contrary to popular belief, but something had to be promised.
I think they probably had some frank discussion, and Adrian Gibson just decided that he's going to work with his party and step aside and continue his battle that he's dealing with and not be a distraction for the party. I think it probably boiled down to as simple as that. I'm sure he had a conversation with Andre Rollins. Andre Rollins have said that he was willing to talk with him and sit down and discuss with him the way going forward. So I'm sure they had that discussion, and they all come to mutual agreement and understanding.
I say God bless them all. Good luck. Three of y'all, the two of y'all. The three in the race, right?
Who's the three in Long Island? Yes.
The PLP has that lady that wasn't
COI.
Renika Knowles.
Renika Knowles.
It's like, okay. Good luck. Three of y'all.
Leslie.
May the best person, man. I believe the woman, the PLP lady, stand a chance now. That it's only a three-big fight. Good luck. I ain't getting there.
Leslie, you'll be good. Just stop, please. You only talk to yourself. You'll be there. In fact, I'll interview you live from there.
I got family from Long Island.
Well, exactly.
Long Island.
That's why you're going to be there. Yes, absolutely.
They tell me you need a visa to go to Long Island.
Huh?
Yep.
Miller Strong. Listen, gentlemen, I thank you all so much. Thank you very much, Leslie Miller, Ellington Ferguson, and Michael Turnquest. Thank you very, very much. A huge thank you to all of you for tuning in this evening. I certainly enjoyed having you along. I look forward to seeing you right back here tomorrow evening. For the entire Beyond the Headlines team, I'm Shanique Miller. Make it a great evening, everyone.